All right, we're going to go ahead and go live now for YouTube. Happy to have folks with us. Might be wondering about what's happening with our system here, Nicole, and we're going to bring you up to date. Craig Moeller, meteorologist, with you here at 13 News Now. Glad you're finding us here on YouTube. We've been working all morning tracking showers and storms across the region. Haven't seen a tremendous amount of lightning, but at times the rain has been really intense, and I want to get into our weather headlines. We've got this system, Nicole, still a tropical depression, and it is bringing periods of rain to Hampton Roads. No doubt about it. We've already seen showers. At times there have been some really heavy downpours. I think at one point earlier this morning, our reporter Bethany Reese was tracking 6 different accidents along 64. I think VDOT did an incredible job getting those kind of cleared as quickly as they could, but there were some significant issues with the heavy rain from earlier this morning as the remnants of what was Hurricane Nicole still working across the area, and we're getting basically bands of heavy rain sweeping up and into our area. Now, if you look here, the second line of our weather headlines, tornado watch until 3 p.m. Some of these bands are bringing with it some wind energy, and when you get these bands that interact with the surface of the earth, you get some friction. Sometimes little tornadoes spin up. There's a lot of shear with some of these little bands that come through, and you get very short-lived spin-up tornadoes. They can be damaging. They can certainly damage buildings or cause threat to human life, and we want to make sure everybody's aware that this threat continues this afternoon. Not everybody's going to see this, and we hopefully won't see too many, but there is that potential for a couple of isolated, short-lived spin-up tornadoes. They don't last very long, but that's what we have to watch for. And then as we go through the evening, eventually the wet weather is going to exit. Now, let me give you the latest on Nicole. And right now, this is a 10 o'clock advisory. We had one at 4 o'clock. The one at 10 o'clock now has shown a little change in the forward direction of this system. Right now, it's moving north-northeast, and it's gaining speed, moving now at 23 miles per hour. So what's happening is it's starting to get picked up with the winds now out ahead of a strong cold front. It's going to bring about some huge changes to our weather over the weekend. It's going to get sharply colder on Sunday. So today, temperatures in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, we're back up into the low to mid-70s anyway. And then with this front coming through early Sunday morning, we're going to see, or late Saturday night into early Sunday, we're going to see the winds shifting around and much colder air sweeping in. So out ahead of that, the winds from the south and racing it along now at 23 miles per hour. All right, so let's talk about the track here. You see how it is forecast to become a remnant low later this afternoon and into the evening. Maximum winds 30 miles per hour. That's not a real big deal in and of itself. We had winds earlier this week gusting up around 40 to 45. And again, that was just, onshore winds that had kicked up. So, we're not going to have the hardest hit from a tropical system passing by. This thing is weakening. But with that threat of tornadoes, we still need folks to stay weather aware through the afternoon, certainly through the early to middle part of the afternoon. I think as we go late afternoon and evening, that focus for potential tornadoes will shift a little farther to the north. So that's the latest track on Nicole. You see it there as of the 10 a.m. update on this Friday. Here it is, Veterans Day. And unfortunately, with the tropical rains coming in and the wind, a lot of organizers having to change or cancel some events to recognize our veterans and celebrate all that they've done for our country. I know one of the big parades canceled, unfortunately, but we want to keep our veterans and folks going out to support them safe, so it's a good idea. All right, downtown Norfolk right now, that's a live sky view, and you can see the overcast conditions. There have been a few breaks in the clouds down to the south. It's possible we could see a few pops of sun from time to time in between the rain bands, and we'll talk more about that as we go along with our futurecast. 73 degrees, that's where we are right now. Winds are south-southeast, sustained winds, 12 miles per hour at the airport. You see the dew points in the low 70s, so just a lot of tropical humidity across the region right now. As we take a look at the radar, and this is probably what you've been wanting to see, let's get into this. You can see how that center of circulation has been moving along, and I can just show you real quick here as we take a look. Basically, we are finding A lot of the deeper moisture, it's been a little farther to the west. I'm a little concerned with some potential for some runoff or some flash flooding back over the mountains in West Virginia. There's flood watches up out that way. You can certainly see that. They're getting more than what we're seeing. And let me use the pointer here to show you what's going on. These areas here under flood warnings and advisories back over the mountains, those areas could see rainfall totals over 4 inches. So some potentially very high rainfall amounts out that way. The center of circulation still down over Georgia, and we'll zoom in down this way. You can see how the spin is now to the northeast of Atlanta. And again, we're going to continue to find this moving off to the northeast now. It is racing along, and this heavy rain kind of coming up and the upslope effect of those mountains out there along the Blue Ridge, we're seeing some enhanced rainfall there as well. What we're going to be watching for are these bands that come in from offshore, and as they work up across the region, we're going to have to watch for signs of rotation, and that's why that watch has been posted. That came out, it was after 6 o'clock this morning from the Storm Prediction Center, and it runs through 3 o'clock this afternoon. So they said, we're not messing with this. The next 8.5, 9 hours, eastern North Carolina really well, and much of central and southeast Virginia, you need to be prepared. We could see some of these tornadoes popping up. So we're watching that. We've seen a few warnings earlier this morning, and right now we'll take a look here at what's happening. Let's zoom in to Hampton Roads, and we'll take a little closer look. All right, as we get into this, I am going to just stop the radar for a second, show you what's happening, and we're going to zoom in. This is one of those heavier pockets there just north of Eastville. That's outside of the tornado watch, but I want to make this point clear. The 13 News Now viewing area, that's southeast Virginia and northeast North Carolina, everybody's under this watch for the most part, okay? One area that is not Accomack County, the northern sections of the eastern shore, you still need to be prepared and mindful, stay weather aware as these cells, as they're streaming up, they could easily spin something up just outside of that watch area. So the better chances for rotating cells will be a little farther south, but I want you to stay on guard if you're up in the eastern shore area, especially Accomack County. Northampton, you're included in the watch, but for Accomack, just know that you could see something there as well. Really, the precipitation's not all that impressive down to the south. We've got some spotty cells. I'm going to go to our reflectivity mode here with the live radar, and this is out of Wakefield. You know, it's interesting. We've seen a couple cells rotating a little bit back out around the north central areas in North Carolina, out around Greensboro. We had one earlier that was out there, a warning, and we had one just south of South Boston. Right now, no warnings. Let me take a look. Can change this up, and we'll put on any auto warnings here, anything that comes up, it'll pop up automatically. There's nothing going on at this moment. And as I'm putting this out, we're broadcasting live about 20 minutes before, before 11 o'clock. Wow, the morning is flying by. But again, we're going to see that potential for some of these bands to rotate in, and there could be some rotating cells. So right now, a heavier activity there out just north of Raleigh. The activity we're seeing a little closer to Hampton Roads, not as great. You can see we've got some moderate to heavy rain right now just south of Hertford County, around Coleraine and back up towards Reynoldson. We've got that. Down around Edenton, some light to moderate showers and a few heavier cells starting to pop up just south of Scuppernong, down there south of the Albemarle Sound. Talking about Washington, Terrell, and eventually Dare County, you'll see some as well. Now we can take a look at the velocity. We're not seeing any couplets. Earlier, there was a pretty good signature for that one that was south of South Boston, but we haven't really had reports of any damage or anything like that. In fact, I can put up the storm reports very quickly and just check those for you. And to my knowledge, yeah, we haven't seen anything yet. So good news there. As you can see across the immediate area, there have been some reports of wind damage farther south down across the South Carolina coastal areas, and then numerous reports down into Georgia and for Florida as well. But it was a much more powerful storm when it was moving through that area. So good to see that. We can take a look again, that watch until 3 o'clock, and here is a look. Let me loop this for you over the last 3 hours so you can see how the rain's been coming up through the area. this is one of those periods where we're going to get a break, and this is how it's going to go through the afternoon. We'll see some opportunities. There'll be rain. Then we'll get maybe a long pause where it's not that bad. Then we'll get another band coming through and then another pause. So it's kind of off and on, back and forth through the afternoon. I've had some coworkers ask about trying to fly out this afternoon. There will be some windows, but we will also see at times periods of rain. As far as things go, that threat of rain continues into the evening, and it looks like by about 12:30 or so, most of the rain should be moving out. Let's get into the futurecast. You want to see this. So as I mentioned, scattered showers out there across the region. At times some breaks. You see this stopping at 1:45, perhaps another band of showers or a few embedded storms working across the region. As we go late afternoon and into the early evening, we get another wave coming through and then a little break. I think we get one more round coming up late this evening. Right there you see it. And by 1 o'clock, 1:30 or so, that last band should be through and we'll see improvements for your Saturday. Saturday, beautiful. Look at those temperatures. By noon, you're talking low to mid 70s. Winds coming up from the southwest. A warm day, a little more sunshine for you there. Now, as we get into your Sunday, here comes that cold front. Late Saturday night and early Sunday, the wind shift, chances for showers early Sunday morning. But the big news is look at those temperatures. Temps staying in the lower 50s, maybe low to mid 50s for some folks. Sunday, much, much colder, and it's going to stay pretty chilly as we look ahead to Monday. As far as rainfall amounts go, we're not looking at a ton. I will tell you another half an inch or so to an inch, certainly possible. We were saying all total about a half an inch to an inch widespread, heavier amounts out to the west. That really hasn't changed. In fact, the guidance on this system has been very, very good. The Hurricane Center's done an awesome job forecasting Nicole and its impacts. They nailed the intensity, ramping up to a Category 1 hurricane right before landfall along the Florida coast. And then it's weakened and followed that path that was forecast. And really for days we've been thinking this is how it's going to play out. So Hurricane Center forecasters doing a great job with this one. You can see the winds gusting right now, 25 miles per hour. We could see some gusts close to 30 this afternoon. At the coast, we do have small craft advisories up for the bay, the Chesapeake Bay, and for our coastal waters right along Virginia Beach. You go out farther and the winds are a little bit stronger, but near our coast and for the Chesapeake Bay, small craft advisories are up. Want to let you know we also have a coastal flood advisory around the Oregon Inlet. Also, the north end of the Chesapeake Bay up into Maryland, there are some flooding concerns up that way. But for Sewell's Point and Hampton Roads, we're in pretty good shape with the winds pushing the water actually to the north. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. I mentioned warm today, periods of showers, storms possible. The big threat, the possibility of isolated tornadoes. Nothing, no warnings at this moment as we tape this. Again, it is about 10:45 right now. But later today, don't drop your guard. Just stay weather aware and check us out. You can always find us right here on YouTube. We stream a lot of information live on our YouTube channel. Also on our social media platforms and our 13 News Now app. A great way to stay plugged in to our forecasts and our meteorologist updates throughout the day. And if we have to go live, you'll get those updates there as well. It's a free app. Obviously, they're 13 News Now. Great information available. Temperatures turning much cooler. Showers early Sunday. After that, we're going to enjoy a good start to the week, but it is going to be chilly. Some more showers potentially Tuesday night into Wednesday. All right, guys, I'm going to go back and prepare for our noon show here on Veterans Day Friday. If you can, join us there, 13 News Now. Love to have you tune in. And again, you can catch more updates right here on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us. You guys stay weather aware through the afternoon and have a great day.